Hey birds, my name is Glibwings, and welcome to my series on MegaMan X7. So this series is going to be maybe my last-ish series, maybe, we'll see. But yeah, this series is going to be pretty cool, so let's go ahead and get into it. Instead of hitting game start, we're actually going to hit game continue, or just continue, and I will explain why in a little bit here. It's going to wait for this to load. So yeah, so we want to load from memory card. And yeah, basically I'm going to briefly explain this. Also, I'm going to explain a couple more things. So the first thing I'm going to explain is the reason that we're loading from a memory card is because we're using a complete file. The reason we're using a complete file is because, a little bit of a spoiler, when you beat the game and try to play it on your completed file, it'll just take you back to the start of the game. But the difference is you'll have all your stats and all of X's armor pieces. So that's pretty cool. And the second thing I was going to say is, if I can remember, whatever. Let's just load. Oh yeah. This is a game this is one of the only two 3D games in the Mega Man X franchise or series. It is also the one of two games that houses a new character, or introduces a new character rather, who I will be introducing in due time. So let's get into the episode. I'm gonna try not to talk over it.
This is it. Ready to rock?
I'm always ready.
It's always ready.
What the? You wait here.
Alrighty, we'll do.
I guess you've heard of Red Alert.
In case you guys are wondering, Red Alert is a new organization, and I believe if I'm correct, fans know the least about Red Alert. There's only very few things that have been said about Red Alert that the game gives away, but I think that's all we know so far, unfortunately. So until we get more information from, I don't know, the creators of the game, then yeah.
I should be safe here. Somebody must have leaked the information. Huh? Who's there?
It's me, Alus.
Alus.
It was the perfect plan. How did they find out? Hmm?
The old trickaroo. I didn't get this scene the first, when I used to see it.
You're not very sharp, are you?
What the? You were the traitor?
No. I took care of him a second ago.
And
What
that's...
happened? How did you do that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over. And that's our new hero, who I will not name quite yet.
Sometime in the 22nd century. Thanks to the Reploids, even the most devastated regions were set back on the road to recovery. But crimes perpetrated by Mavericks were on the rise. The Maverick Hunters was the official organization that responded to incidents involving Mavericks. One of the veteran members, X, began having second thoughts about the group's forceful methods. He removed himself from the front lines and instead worked to achieve more peaceful solutions.
Why must Reploids fight one another? I've had enough violence.
Yeah.
The Maverick Hunters crippled by X's retirement, an underground organization filled the vacuum. And thus, Red Alert, the illegal band of bounty hunters who pursued Mavericks, was born. Soon, there was not a single Reploid that had not heard of Red Alert, and their charismatic leader, Red. One day, a young Reploid and key member of Red Alert made the decision to leave the group. This decision would change destiny itself.
Goodbye, Red. I'll become a hunter. On my own.
I just love how
Thus, a new battle began.
I just love how dramatic that is. It's like that. All right. Now the thing I love is after this loading screen, it you just plop right into the game. Like, watch this.
Ready?
And it's just ready and plop. You're in the game. So that's really interesting. So there's that. The other thing I was gonna mention is, yeah. What was I gonna mention? Crap, I can't remember at the moment. Oh well. Anyway. Oh yeah. There's one thing I was gonna mention about this game. Now, this is one thing that really destroyed my childhood on this game. I used to think that all the characters in this game were human. In fact, none of them are human. They are all androids, and not only are they androids, but they are also very smart androids. So smart that they are called Reploids, and this character that I'm using right now, which is the new hero, who I will not name quite yet, he is what is called a new gen android. Now, one thing I want to mention is I have researched a fair bit of the lore for this game already, which is really nice because a lot of this game I didn't get. For the longest time, I thought that this was the only game in the series. I wasn't too sure, to be honest, at first. But, yeah. I'll try to be quiet as much as I can during the cutscenes, because cutscenes are kind of long, but they are pretty important, or at least I think they're important. Alright, so let's see here. This way. Yeah, but the biggest reason why I'm using a complete file is it makes a lot of things a lot easier. It makes everything like a lot easier, and it makes it so that I can progress through this Let's Play a lot faster. May not be as authentic, but it's just something I chose to do, and I thought it'd be best for doing a Let's Play on this. It's kind of like a Let's Play slash showcase of this game. Not really sure how you would put it, but yeah. Anyway, we are loading.
Phew. Somebody please tell me I'm through with the worst of it.
Not quite. Just gonna mention something, but I'm waiting.
I can't believe I'm back here again. What the heck has happened? They really made a mess.
Alright, let me talk about this line for a second. When he says, in the first line, he says, "I can't believe I'm back here again." And I want to talk about that line because, I don't know, it's kind of like a little bit of backstory, a little bit of origins to understand what he means by that. First time not even the first time, but when I used to see this, I never really knew what he meant by it. But what he's actually alluding to is he's alluding to a boss battle that takes place here in MegaMan X1. So he's alluding to a boss battle that you fight in X1, and somehow now he's back here for whatever the case may be. Now, I want to talk about Zero's character just a little bit. Zero is what I would call a reformed character. When he was first created, like him as an android, when he was first created, he went absolutely crazy, and he was very reckless, ruthless. He was basically like your average, I don't know, hyperactive kid. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but he's basically, I don't know, like he had a lot of like destructiveness in him. but eventually he kind of like smoothed out, calmed down, and became reformed. It sort of reminds me of like Piccolo, because Piccolo had a very like, I don't know if you call it dark or very like intense past. I guess intense is the right word, but he kind of had like an intense past. But the thing about Zero is he's kind of like Piccolo, how they're kind of both reformed, or at least I think so anyway. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to mention for that.
Ready?
But yeah, that's trying to remember if I talked about this already, but if not, I'll mention it again. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to use a completed file for this is also because a couple of reasons. First reason is because with Zero, there's something really important about him. You only so you get your sword swings, right? Now, here's how many sword swings are in total. So, those are all the sword swings. That is really important, because not only do you get a bunch of sword swings, but having all the stats allows you to do maximum damage, but also having certain stats from maxed out stats also makes it so that when you get hit or take damage from certain things, you just sort of take the hit. Like, you don't, like, react or fall over, or be pushed, or just, like, be pushed around. You just kind of take the hit. So that's kind of like the... So those are like a few of the biggest reasons why. And the third reason is because then I can do the maximum amount of damage possible. Just to speed things up. So a lot of it is for speeding up things. That's kind of like the biggest purpose of why. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because, yeah, just give some perspective on that. Anyway, let's take out these guys. Boom. Boom. And it always feels like there's so many of those guys. Anyway, let's take out this bee here. Ow. Well, most things don't knock you over when you have maximum stats or certain stats out of those max stats that, you know, prevent things like being knocked back and stuff like that. But for the most part, I would say this. You're pretty much good to go. Some things still knock you back, but that's just kind of the reality of it. Boom. So, there's the bee again. Man, there's so many of these bees. I really tell you, like, there's just so many. There we go. So that bee's done. Done like dinner. Now, this part used to give me a lot of trouble, especially like having a completed file makes this part a lot easier. I'm just gonna say that right now. If you don't have like doing this like on like a brand new file is very difficult because the biggest thing is like there's different bees. Or the mechanical bees, they come out. And, like, if you get hit by one and you don't have the right stats to just take the hit, you will be knocked back. And when you get knocked back, they will knock you into the void and just make things really difficult for you. And it's not fun to deal with.
Out of the way! Out of the way!
Yep. Here comes a new person.
Wait a second.
Are you stupid? You're in danger if you just stand there. Move on.
Alright, I just want to talk about this line briefly. I love this line. This is like my favorite line out of the entire game. He just straight up in the first line just says, "Are you stupid?" It's like, no. I just really love that line though.
Connected to this incident.
Incident? What are you talking about? Oh, here it comes. So I'll be seeing ya.
what's going on.
I could have avoided that. But yeah, one thing I want to talk about. A lot of people say this game is like really easy and stuff. And yeah, I agree with them to a point. Like, it's not necessarily that it's a hard game. It's more just the fact that, like, there's still skill involved.
You've got some explaining to do.
Like, there's skill involved, but there's also routines involved. And routines, patterns, skill. I think those are still all very much applicable in this game. As much as other people might not think so. I think there is, because I've noticed it quite a bit. That certain routines and patterns work really well. There's still a level of skill that you still need for this game. So that's like a few of the biggest things I notice. But, yeah. I don't know. I used to struggle a lot with this game. Like, I actually beat this game, before. And, you know, since I've beaten it, like, I now understand, you know, like, I understand where skill lies, but I also understand where the simplicity, not simplicity, but like the easiness of this game lies, sort of thing.
Okay, I'll tell you everything, but later. Right now, I have to take care of that freak.
Anyway, here it is.
You're Zero, so you can handle this, right? I'm Axel. Call me if you need a hand.
And there's his name. So, the new hero, or the guy that is talking right now, his name is Axel. So I guess name reveal now. So, yeah. Anyway, that's his name. So, just thought you guys should know that. I mean, obviously it's on the screen, but you know.
This has become a real pain. I want a full explanation when this is all over.
Also a good line. I think a lot of Zero's lines are just great because they're just really level-headed and very logical. Anyway, let's take out this guy once and for all. There goes that. I think that was like his cannon or whatever he was using. There goes his tail. Come on, take him out. Take him out. Take him out.
Here goes nothing.
Come on. This battle doesn't always give me this much grief, but I guess it just is right now. Also, one thing I really like to do with the shooters is I like to use either my index or middle finger to just rapidly tap the square button to make rapid fire a lot better. So, yeah. Anyway, that's that. So, let's move on.
I'm not gonna run off. So could you take this thing off? It makes me feel like a criminal.
Feel like a criminal?
Okay. Maybe what I did was wrong, but like we were a perfect team, don't you think? When we kicked that big dude's butt, I thought, yeah, we would make a great combo.
Just ... At that moment, it's like that dad moment.
So where's X been lately? I haven't seen him around.
It's like,
Sit tight. He's just beyond this door.
it's just like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. It's like that perfect dad moment right there.
Here he is.
Nice work, Zero.
So, you're the one who caused all this trouble.
I guess so. I had no idea they'd send that kind of gear after us.
Here? Who's after you?
I left Red Alert. Believe it or not, I'm a hunter.
Red alert. You mean that gang of wannabe vigilantes?
Do you realize how much damage your internal bickering has caused?
I apologize for that, but I had to leave. As for what happened as a result, that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. Do you have any idea?
Cool it. All right, Axel. Why don't you start by telling us why you left?
Very forward.
Red Alert changed. They're no better than murderers now. They used me. We used to only attack the bad guys, but not anymore. I couldn't take it.
They're going to come for Axel, no doubt.
This is our chance. Red Alert has caused us far too much trouble.
How can you say that? If we fight, we'll fall right into their hands. We can't allow this madness to continue.
I know what you mean, X. But we can't talk them out of this. Sometimes fighting is the only choice.
Fair.
That's quite enough. You need to back off and pay the dues for your crimes.
Yeah, that's X for you. I was gonna mention this earlier. Let's see if I can mention it.
Amelia, what happened?
Unidentified transmission. Feeding to monitor.
You getting this, hunters? I'm Red, leader of your friends here at Red Alert. I never imagined our little friend would end up in your hands, but in any case, I want Axel back. Now, don't you worry. I know he won't come back easily. So how about this? Like you, we're hunters. We've trashed our share of Mavericks. So how about a duel?
A duel.
A duel to determine who the real Maverick hunters are. I'm sure you won't mind if we use the Mavericks that we've captured so far. So the last one standing wins. If we lose, we'll surrender Axel to you. And if we win, well, we'll leave that to your imagination.
Dang.
You've got to be kidding. Axel has nothing to do with us. We won't fight the likes of you for his sake.
Well, pretty big talker for a retiree. We could care less about deadbeats like you. We just want Axel. He is there, isn't he? Now, you just sit tight, my boy.
They're already on the move. Mavericks are showing up across the map. I'll check for damage.
See if I can mention. Wait. No, wait.
I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
Well, this is turning into a real mess.
X, you said I need to pay my dues, right? So make me a Maverick Hunter. Me and Zero make a great team, and together we could take care of Red Alert.
Are you mad? You have no business as a hunter.
I'm serious. It would be a perfect chance to make up for my wrongdoing.
If you had just gone back, the problem would have been solved. But I can see that won't be happening.
Dang. Shut down.
Right. These aren't run-of-the-mill criminals. They won't listen to reason. And even if Axel did go back, which he won't, would they stop their misdeeds? I don't think so.
Zero, you're my hero. Hey, I knew you'd understand. I always thought you and X were so cool. I want to fight. I want to be a Maverick Hunter.
Not just anybody can become a hunter, kid.
We're not getting anywhere with this. I'm ready to go.
No, wait.
I'm going by myself. As for you, you can do as you please.
Yeah. X, if I catch all the bounty hunters, you've got to promise me you'll let me be a Maverick Hunter.
Talk is cheap. Prove it to me first.
Dang.
And don't forget this.
Okay, I won't let you down.
Kind of sort of looks like he's slapping you. Okay, two things if I can speak.
Another pointless conflict has begun.
X, don't overthink this. This time our only choice is to fight.
We've made this mistake time and time again. Why must Reploids continue this accursed cycle of aggression?
Alright, I think I can speak now. Yeah, I can speak. Okay, two things I wanted to say. As you can notice from the cutscenes, also you'll notice this. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, there are two things you'll probably notice from, I guess from the cutscenes, or at least something that I should probably point out. Axel is very childish and very teenager-like. That's just kind of like where his, like, that's kind of like where his robotic mind or where his programming is kind of set. He's kind of set up as kind of like to sort of like act more like a teenager. Now, whether Axel actually moves into adulthood from a robotic standpoint or from kind of like a simulated human standpoint, not sure. But that's kind of like his character. He's sort of like an angsty teenager. Now, the thing about X, you'll notice he says a lot about things about like how he's against fighting, he's against Reploids with aggression. He's just like against it all, pretty much. Like he's just like fighting is a last resort for X. That's the other thing you should know about X, is that for him, fighting is very much a last resort. He is very much a peacemaker character, but he's also retired. But you do get to play as him in this game, and I will kind of be explaining more about that as time goes on. So, let's go ahead and save. Alright, save, yes. There we go. Yeah, so as you can see where it says speed, power, and special, those are all the stats. Now, for every character, I have all the stats filled up. So, that being said, when you have all the stats, it just makes playing through this game a lot simpler and a lot faster. Like I said before, a lot of it is just for speed reasons. So anyway, let's return and get started here. Or not get started, but like, yeah, get to where we need to be. Yeah, there's really a lot to talk about this game, and I feel like I haven't quite covered everything that I needed to cover about this game, so I apologize if I missed some stuff that I wanted to cover and I didn't. I'll try to talk about it in future episodes, but yeah. So anyway, that's been the episode. So as you can see, we get 8 stages that we have to go to, or 8 missions rather. Now, usually when you don't have a completed file, these will just kind of like come in one by one and sort of like join up, and they'll each have a description of what you're supposed to do. So they'll have like a mission statement. So anyway, that has been the episode, guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and next episode we are going to be heading to... Where is a good place to head? We'll head to Radio Tower, because that's one of the more easier places to tackle. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode, and as always, guys, if you liked the video, hit it like a window, play hard, take flight, Glibwings out.
Racist.
Equality.
Perspective.